Are dogs getting car sick more often than they used to? So sometimes it's all about anxiety. The dog gets super stressed out and worked up in the car and makes themselves sick. There's always been dogs like that and there always will be. Other times it's true motion sickness, like an inner ear thing, like being on a small fishing boat out in the ocean where just the movement makes them sick. There's always some animals and people that are going to be affected by that, and that's still the case. But recently, I had a client tell me that their dog does fine in their older vehicles, but in the newer vehicles, and especially the most new vehicle that they have, the dog is car sick and miserably nauseous and just looks miserable for the whole ride, but it does fine in their older vehicles. Well, for more than 20 years, there's been Bluetooth in newer cars. And it's not just to connect to your phone, it's also to monitor different sensors such as the tire pressure in your tires. And it cannot be turned off. And even more recently, there's magnetic ride control using magnetized metal particles in the fluid of the shock absorber that are surrounded by an electric coil, and then the computer that operates the suspension changes the voltage or power or current or whatever in that electric coil 1,000 times a second, and that adjusts the magnetic field or the density or the compressibility of the fluid in the shocks for this perfect ride. And it's really quite impressive technology, frankly. So the Bluetooth is an electromagnetic field. It's a radio wave, although it's somewhat lower power. But the electric current and the resultant magnetic fields in the shock absorbers, and that's the exact definition of EMF, electromagnetic field, those use much more power, and they're active continuously. They're doing things 1,000 times a second. So it's a much stronger and more active EMF than the Bluetooth. And all of that affects all of the cells in our bodies. It's not just the Bluetooth cooking the brains of those wearing earbuds, but the magnetic ride control may be doing more harm to you. And this discussion doesn't even talk about electric vehicles. We're just talking about conventional vehicles. So if your dog or you are getting car sick more often in the newer vehicles, that's probably why. More about EMFs and a lot of other things in my book, Why Our Pets Are Unhealthy, which is available on Amazon. Thanks.